We're going to do a bob. I sometimes call this a French bob, but really it's just like, it's a bob that sits like right here, kind of curves this way, and then it will curve back a little bit back here, like a little Parisian bob.
Ooh la la.
And again, we're going to try and do more and more of these free live streams for you guys, but if you feel so inclined, you can use that little badge button to donate $1, $3, $175,000, and that way we can continue to do these lives without the financial burden that it puts on us. These dolls, this is a $90 doll. See if we can get to $90. Anyway, forget it. So we're going to start off in a place that I feel like we start normally on a bob. So we'll come up and get close on these. A lot of times I think we start a bob in the back. It's like we just are inclined to start a bob in the back. For this one, I like to start a bob in the shortest place. So because it has like a little kind of a curved back like this, I like to start in the front because that's going to end up being my shortest area of the haircut. So we're actually going to take maybe a slight diagonal back section there. And we're going to be working at 45 degrees. Maybe come to this side actually, Tuana. That way Ben can be in the background.
Just overseeing.
Yeah. And we're gonna set this in just right around the jaw. And we're going to start off with a small movement of the razor.
Small.
So a short stroke of the razor. That's going to give us a strong foundation. And then we're going to work at 45 degrees to start building up a bit of graduation there. So you can see what that looks like. A short stroke of the razor gives you this really blunt looking line in there. Can you even see it? Oh, it fell. All right.
Would you call this the Muldoon approach?
Well, sometimes he'll start and go back to front. I believe it's the only video he's ever posted. Anyway, no. he's a buddy. So continue with these like kind of diagonal sections like that. But we're going to work at 45 degrees. So if you look like right in this way through the front, you can start to see the elevation. Instead of being here, it comes out to there. And I'm going to use these fingers as a way to like brace against the doll and give myself a little measuring map of how high or low I'm holding this. Sliding past a little bit, and we're going to open the razor up a little bit, meaning we're just going to move the razor a little bit more, not much more, but a little bit more on this second pass here with a little bit of elevation. So now you can see that instead of that super blunt line, it has a little bit of edginess to it. And then each section I kind of comb it back and forth to look for like the curve in it. And right away, I mean, if you've done some graduation, you can see that it bevels in, like it turns in. If you're doing a one length, it's going to sit a little flatter, like a little straighter. If it is graduation, it should turn in just a little bit. Continue with those diagonals. And we're going to lift a little bit higher. So we were here, like all the way down, then we were there, and now we're going to be there. So just gradually increasing the length or the elevation. So we're building up weight. We're going to slide past the guide. So there's the guide right in there. And then I'm going to open the razor up even a little bit more. So all the stopping points are at the same place. Like the line all ends in the same place. But then we have some shorter hair that ends up on the inside of that. So we'll comb back and forth again. We can start to see that little tuck, little friar tuck. And we'll angle it up again. I was just saying we don't get a whole lot of opportunity to do this particular bob in the salon anymore. I feel like I used to do it a lot more, but now I don't do it as much. So look at this. I don't want to pull this forward. I want to pull it straight off the part. So I'm going to bring this right out, just like that. What do you call that, Ben? What from the part? It's like a letter.
T.
T from the part. It's like a capital T.
Part.
T to the part, yeah. And now I'm going to really move the razor a lot more. So you see we have these long movements of the razor, but all the stopping points are the same. So it's like we're just taking more out from the inside. And if you have to, sometimes you can come back and just dial in a few of those pieces if they're kind of long. Keep on kind of combing it to see if it's giving us that curve section that we're looking for. Also, I have the head tilted away, to make it easier for you to do. I would say you could tilt your client's head a bit. This already has like some fringe and stuff, so it makes it a lot easier actually to work this in on the side. Otherwise, you have to like worry about this front corner and start, figuring that out. I would suggest the way to solve that is to add bangs. And then you never have to worry about a front corner. So we're lifting up even higher now. So you see, we went here, 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 here. So we're like continuing to lift. Coming out. Really opening that up, using like 3/4 of the blade, like laying a good amount of the blade down against the section to give us some softness there. We get a beautiful little curve going.
That's nice.
Ben's like, I have clients, I gotta go.
Bye.
So we're gonna comb this out again, and you can see the layer that was in there before. It starts to angle a bit to the side, so we're just gonna keep working that. Now my elevation's high enough that I can't even touch anymore. See, but I can't get it. We're gonna continue making just a little kind of square line right here. You see what that is? It's like short to long, short to long, short to long, short to long. And then it gives us this softness there. It gives us some super softness. You see what that does? Kind of curves in. I think I got a little long right on the very end, so we're gonna come and just dial that end bit in some. Simple though. Creates graduation. So we create graduation with the internal distribution of the weight by increasing the movement of the razor and with the elevation that we're putting in. So if we were to look at the line that is in, we bring it out, it's a 45-degree angle line, but it also starts to get softer and softer with each section that we take. And then we can even start to refine that a little bit on the inside by going diagonally through that section, bringing it out, and then if I want to even soften out a little bit more right there through the top to increase that weight removal, I can do that. So diagonal sections through, and this is just so that we are gradually having more and more weight taken out as we go up through the top. Leaving the bottom nice and heavy. Cool. Normally I would say what I would probably do would be to do the other side, But just for the sake of watching something different and not watching the same thing the whole time, we'll go ahead and start working the back section here. So you can see how I have it sectioned out. I have these 2 back panels, and then I have a crown panel. So this I've saved out because a lot of the time I'll veil over with this rather than continuing to build the graduation to give it some softness and movement. Or you could just keep on working right through it. It's totally up to you. Our sections, though, are going to basically match that section, these little diagonal back sections there. Just working just like that. We're going to set this length in where we want to see it, kind of envisioning, how that is actually going to be with the bob line coming through right there. Do you have any questions on there from people? If you guys have questions, type them in. Tawana will ask them. I'll attempt to answer. Remember, if you like this education, you want to help us do more free lives like this, you could always choose to make a donation by hitting the badge button on the page. If you do not want to do that, or you're just not able to do that, that's totally fine. We're still going to do as many free lives as humanly possible, but it definitely helps out to cover the cost of the doll heads and stuff. So, all right. So we're going to come in now. We're going to start here in the front, and we're going to keep a bit of a small movement of the razor. Yeah, if you have questions, Tawana's scrolling back through, but if you asked a question, you can just go ahead and re-ask it, so she doesn't have to do that.
Yes, of course. What razor are you using?
This is, it's like a plie, a feather plie, spelled Plier, but I actually got this one from a company called Steps. Steps Hair on Instagram. Steps. Steps. Really great company run by Steven Adams. Travis and Steven run that company together. 2 good dudes. All right, so we're continuing with those sections here. And we're going to keep on making the graduation. Now I can start to see a bit of a guide there from underneath, or from the front. So I'm going to lift that up at about 45, slide past the guide so it falls out. And then I'm starting to open the razor a little more, move the razor just a little more than I did on the first section. So we get this increased texture. The moisture. All right. Sorry, I just started talking to myself. I don't know what happened there.
Are you going to be doing any classes on the East Coast?
Classes on the East Coast. Yeah, so we're going to announce some Georgia classes coming up soon for East Coast. And then we definitely plan on having a few more if we can figure it out. The year just filled up really, really fast. So, but if we don't have them this year, we'll probably start our classes next year with East Coast classes since we missed out from before. So you can see the elevation, 45 degrees, drawing that out like that. Slide past the guide, and now I'm really, I'm going to start to move this razor even a little bit more. So all the stopping points are the same. So you can see, just because you work with a razor doesn't mean that it needs to be very crazy and uneven. Like all of this is still very balanced in there, And I'm rotating this around, still at a 45. Using my fingers as a bit of a kickstand to maintain the same elevation, to keep consistency.
I think some people may have missed. You did say, though, why start this bob in the front instead of the back?
Yeah, I like to start this bob in the front because I generally like to start things in the shortest place, so I can work from a short to long kind of feeling. So a lot of time a bob is either square or it angles forward. This kind of slopes back a little bit. So I start in the front so I can work gradually to the back. You could even start to go like this if you want it, so that you can get your guide like that from the front section. That way we know we're balanced with the same place from the front. And then we start to really move this sucker a good bit there. I rotate around, so I'm following the shape of the head here. It's kind of a round shape. Draw that
Here's
out.
a good question. What's been on your summer playlist this year?
I have literally been obsessed with this band, The Wonder Years. I've listened to, on Apple Music, there's a thing called the Wonder Years Essentials, which is like a mix of all their different albums. And I've been just listening to that a lot. That's what's on my gym playlist. When I'm at the gym, that's really what I'm listening to most of the time. And then I still listen to all the same old stuff. A lot of the time I'm listening to Corner Creature, which is, that's Ben's band. If you guys don't listen to them, you should check out Corner Creature Band on Instagram, or you can just look up Corner Creature on Spotify or Apple Music. Really, really good stuff. Very 90s style stuff. Never gets old. So again, I'm going to continue like that. So I'm getting a guide from right there. Bring that out. There's the guide in my fingers. You can see the short bit there in my fingers. And I'm going to slide just past it. Long movements of the razor, but they all kind of stop in the same place. They start in the same place, stop in the same place. So if they go from here, short to long, short to long. And that way you get a lot of that internal action, but you also get a line that you can follow. We start to get a nice little graduated shape there. Make sure we didn't miss anything, because we missed one little piece.
Someone asked if you clean up the line when it's dry with your scissors.
You definitely could, but you don't have to. If you like it being a little bit disheveled line or whatever, you could leave it like that. But a lot of time I do come back and clean up the line with my scissor. So we're going to keep bringing this out now. And just like before, I'm starting to get to a point where I'm elevating enough that I can't reach the mannequin anymore. And then we're going to really open that blade up a lot.
What is your favorite part about doing the podcast?
My favorite part about doing the podcast has got to be coming up with new segments and trying them out with Ben and I just cracking up. It's really, the podcast is not a thing that makes us a lot any money. It costs money. All the equipment is expensive and the time, all of that. But it's just so much fun to record it and just laugh with your friends. And, I think for me, the reason I wanted to do that kind of a podcast was because there's so many hair podcasts out there right now that are great. Don't get me wrong, they're good podcasts. But it gets boring, I think, to just have the same kind of podcasts, hair podcasts over and over and over again, where, it's we're just getting people's history, getting inspiration. I think those are good things to have. We need podcasts to tell us about our hairdressers that we love and that we're fans of. We need inspiration, all that is good, but sometimes we just need to laugh and be lighthearted and enjoy ourselves. So this is a bad idea, is what our podcast is called. Because everyone told us it was not going to be a good idea to record our conversations and just put them online indiscriminately. But it's been great. But anyway, This is a Bad Idea is the name of the podcast. You can listen to it on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. if you're into hairdresser comedy, it's a great thing. So, I forgot, we're actually doing diagonal backs here, so I got to make sure that I'm like sloping up a little bit like that. So it goes diagonal back. Now, this first one, because you don't have a guide, you've got to come and like get a visual reference point from the front. Like, where do you need this to start? So we're just I'm gonna use the jawline as a good reference. So we'll do that again. And I want to start in the front and work my way to the back so that I'm, still keeping that same flow from shorter to longer in the back. We're starting off with a closed blade, meaning or a short stroke of the blade, I should say, so that we get like a strong line in our fingers. You can see right there, we have a very kind of clean, oh, I just drop it when I try to show it. A clean line. I'm combing this around to see like how it's going to sit. I like where it's tucking in right there around the jawline. That's why it's important to find a reference point on the face so that you know what to do on the other side. You can get a visual reference looking side to side, but if you already say like, oh, the jawline, you know it's going to be the same, unless they're really an uneven human face. So we're going to bring this out. I'm looking for my guide on the inside. So when I come past it, you can see right there. You see that? That's the guide. Right in there is the guide. You can really see through it beautifully. So we're just going to come past, and then we're going to work right on that same place, opening the movement of the blade a little bit more, like increasing the length of the stroke of the blade a very small amount. So now you can see we have a little bit more action here. Then we're going to comb them back and forth. Continue to look for the movement. Like, I'm doing those things with purpose. I'm not just like doing the combing to just do it. It's like I do it to see, is it moving the way that I want it to move? Is it going to make the shape that I want it to make? So increasing the elevation. So we were here, then we're here, now we're here. So keep that in mind. We're slowly increasing the elevation. We want to gradually build up this weight. That's why we call it graduation. So we come out just past the guide. Like, I need to be able to see that my guide is right there. And then longer movements of the blade, so we get even more softness on the inside. So you can really start to see that comes out. But it also all comes to the same place, so it all stops there. Then you have short pieces on the inside that are all in the same place as well. Comb that out. Checking for my guides, checking for the movement. Maybe we're just like got a little excess length in there because it doesn't want to bend quite right. So I'll come and take that off and check it again. Cool, now I'm getting that like bend that I want to see.
People love her purple.
Oh, thanks. This is all Goldwell color right here. I don't remember what we use for the formula now. I think this is like a 10 BB, 9 kg, and pink, cool pink pure pigments, I think. And then this is, it was actually supposed to be a copper, right? We were trying to do like a copper, but it came out a little more violet, and I actually ended up loving it. But I don't remember what exactly we did for the formulas now.
Someone wants to know where to donate.
Oh, if you want to donate, I might have turned it on the right way. Hopefully I did. It should say like badge down in the corner. Like down, where's my hand? Down in the corner somewhere. It should show like badge down there or something. I don't know if it worked. If it didn't work, I'll figure it out. You can donate again later. But if not, you can click badge. It might be like when you try to write, like when you try to type a comment, it will say badge there too. And you can end up donating to that. So we're bringing this out now. Even longer movements of the razor. Right there I'm starting to lose tension a little bit. So I'm going to go ahead and recomb so I have better tension. And we're going to keep working that razor back.
Oh, and people were wondering if you would be in New England and also Florida anytime.
I'm going to be in Florida for the Masters of Balayage event in August. That's in Clearwater, Florida. If you look up Masters of Balayage, you can get tickets to that. You can also use my code and get 10% off. It's Jacob10, JACOB10, all capital letters with no spaces. So when you get your ticket, you can get 10% off that way if you want to use the code. Notice I'm like always combing it back and forth. It's like it's not just a tick or something that we do. It's, we're doing that so that we can really see the movement in the shape, and it gets it to bevel in a little bit. Like just going like this, a lot of people do that and you're like, I don't know what just happened. My client's face hurts now. But if we give it a little comb back and forth, it loosens the shape up a little so that I can get the haircut to bevel in and to change shape. So we're coming to our last section here in the front again. Bring this out. You guys, let me know if that badge thing is even there. Even if you don't donate, did it work? I don't know. I think it did, but we'll see. So again, now that we have it in, I'm going to work diagonal sections through it so that I know that I'm getting softer higher up. So I do these diagonal sections through. I look at the top of the section, and then I start to remove a little extra weight at the very top so that I'm getting that gradual increase in softness as we get to the top of the section. So it's like creating internal weight distribution that mimics graduation, and the actual elevation starts to give us a bit of graduation too.
And would you be able to get this same sort of I think it's the bevel that they mean, this with a feather?
Totally. You could definitely do it with a feather. Let's try it. Let's try and do it with a feather. I don't know if this blade is sharp or dull. Probably dull. I don't really use a feather very often, but it can be nice. So we're going to keep doing these diagonal back sections here.
There's some French guy on here. It's Ben, but he put it in French. I can't read French.
It's Ben.
Yeah.
Pas du français. Are we going to do class in France? No. Because I saw the French president get slapped the other day. If you guys haven't seen that, you need to Google French president get slapped. It's pretty funny. I don't know why this dude slapped him, but he did. But here, we'll try it with this razor. So I need to sort of, at first I'm envisioning where that line is going to be. It doesn't connect, so I have to envision the line. And then, we're going to come down, and with a little movement, we're going to find that little space between the teeth of the razor and just start working that line in a more blunt way to start. So we can still get a pretty blunt line with that. Comb it back and forth. I think we're looking pretty close to that length because it should make a little kind of point in the back. The thing about using this blade to do it is just that because of the teeth, it works in a different way. It just doesn't work. You have to find that space in between the teeth for it to actually cut. So you could do it maybe more like this, where you kind of just skim it in little by little over the top. It's probably, if I was going to do it this way, this is how I would do it. I would just use the entire blade to skim the line in like that. It's just a different tool, so it is used in a little bit of a different way. Because if you want to use it like we were using it before, side to side, you have to make these little teeth work for you and find space in between those teeth.
And someone wondered why you use the foot of the razor on that side.
It sounds like that person already knows the answer to that. Just by asking, they seem to know. But the reason we use the top of the blade or the bottom, is it Ben?
No, it's Forest River.
Forest, all right,
it's
cool.
Very pleasant.
I like your name.
Yes.
Anyway, it's two different kinds of landscapes.
Yes. Rivers are in forest.
When we're working from the right to the left, we use the bottom half of the blade to have more of the blade away from the client. If I bring this down, I've got all this blade close to the neck of the client. So I'm going to use the top, the bottom half of the blade right here, to keep more of the blade away from what we're working on. It keeps me safer, it keeps the client safer, and by consciously using the top of the blade on one side, bottom of the blade on the other side, you're using the entire blade. So you're not using the same piece of the blade over and over on each side, and then the blade you'll feel like the blade is dull, So you kind of get the most out of your blade that way too. All right, so now we're elevating up just a little bit. There's my guide. It starts to fall out, and we're starting to work that line in just like that. Rotating around, keeping my elevation, working right to this point in the center. Again, I'm going to comb this around. I want to make sure that it's giving me the curviness that I want to see. So we'll keep it going. Diagonal back.
Oh, no badge is there right now.
Oh man, what a waste.
And someone wanted to know if you've watched any good anime lately.
I am waiting for more anime to come out. I just started watching this thing that's like this orb is, I can't remember what it's called, but it is good. It's on HBO Max. You can watch it on there. But it's about this orb that like slowly takes on the form of all these different things. It first takes on the form of a rock, and then a wolf dies next to the rock, and it takes on the form of the wolf, like a dog wolf. And then a boy dies next to the dog, and it takes on the form of the boy. So I've just started it out. It seems pretty deep, less action than I'm used to in an anime. I'm mostly watching like action animes. And I've also watched Jujutsu Kaisen, which is like, you know, classic style. A dude with powers gets stronger and stronger to protect his friends, and like that's exactly what every plot of every anime is that I watch. So that's going to be a good one. All right, we're pulling this out. Slide past that. Long motions of the blade, holding this at 45 degrees. We got to keep it at 45. Continue to elevate so that we get this like gradual build up in weight.
And how do you convince clients to not be afraid of the razor and bad past experiences?
Well, you know, what we usually say is that you can't blame the tool because someone used it poorly on your head. Like, a lot of the time you might have had a bad haircut with a pair of scissors too. You know, I'm sure you have. I certainly have. And, you know, it's not the scissor's fault, it's the user of the scissor. So it's the same thing with the razor. It's not the razor's fault, it's the way that they use the razor. So to be honest, I don't talk to my clients about the tools very often. I just start using the tools that I want to use. But if you have a client like that is like, ooh, don't use that razor on me, I would say that, you know, that it was probably the way the razor was being used. You know, let's use it this time, and I feel like you're going to love it. And if you don't, the next time you come in, we can always go back to using a scissor. But let's try something new. I'd also say the more that you're promoting that you're doing something, like the more that you promote using a razor, the more your clients that are coming in are going to expect it. And you won't even have to worry about it. They'll just like, you know, they'll just trust you to use whatever tool you feel is necessary in the moment. So we're starting to get our like similar graduated vibe on this side. It kind of like starts to tuck back a little bit there and bevels in like that. And then what we could do is veil over the back if we wanted to, or we could, you know, continue to build weight. Like, are we looking balanced here? I think we're actually going to look, we're looking a little long on this side. So let's go back through it one quick time. And then I have a client that just came. So we'll finish this up rather quickly. And then we'll go live again later with the badge so that you know, stingy SOBs. I'm just kidding. I guess I just didn't elevate quite as high, so I got to go back and lift that elevation up and remove that little bit of length so I get the same kind of graduation on both sides. Not much though. And then once you like feel rather confident with the razor, it's like you can start to move like pretty quickly there.
Do you have any advice to be more comfortable cutting with the razor?
Cut with the razor more. Really though, I mean, I mean, I'm not even meaning to like sound like a jerk when I say that. I literally mean it. Cut with it all the time. Do doll work at home all the time. You know, I'm constantly practicing on dolls. It's a thing that I'm always doing. So, all right, so we're bringing this down. I'm just going to veil over the back a little bit here. I think we'll just come and really open this up. Taking these horizontal sections through. Sort of matching a little bit of the shape that's there. So like working from the outside to the inside. Again, bringing this out here, working from the outside to the inside. You could choose to just continue to completely match it up using a guide from below, or you can let it hang over a little bit, working with some disconnection, which is what we're doing right now, just to add that softness. A lot of the time I might do that and then decide to get rid of it. But the fact that you left it longer leaves you the option to change it or get rid of it later. I also think this is kind of a cool thing that as we cut it, because of the creative like block color placement, we get all sorts of new like looks with the color, you know, all the time. You can see what that does. Even though we veiled over it, it still gives us this really nice and graduated feel. Maybe we're a little long right there. So we get that graduation. We get this like kind of soft, like flow, I call it a little Parisian bob, a little French girl bob like that. It's a very classic shape. I think it's a timeless shape. It doesn't really go out of style. It just, you know, has to be put on the right person with the right level of personality and confidence to wear it. You know, the right wardrobe really is good too. So that's like, gives us this really pretty graduated bob shape. And this one already has this little fringe on it too. So thanks for tuning in, everybody. If you want more education, full-length education available at your fingertips anytime, you can go to fancyhairdressers.com. For only $10 a month, you can watch these videos whenever you want. Endless access to it. We're going to go live again soon. And I'm going to figure out this badge situation so that you guys can help us go live and provide free education all the time. Just helping us cover some of the costs, like, you know, the mannequins. Because these mannequins get expensive, and we don't want to have to run through so many of them and create all this garbage. So you can help us pay for the recycling services. You can help us pay for the dolls. Thanks again, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye.